One of the things that we have seen in recent years, the last 5 years, is this enormous shift to vote by mail. So right now, let's take a look at exactly how the county is dealing with the vote by mail process.
Since the year 2000, when anyone could choose to vote by mail in any election for any reason, California voters have signed up to do just that. Nearly 7 million voters statewide are now vote-by-mail voters. That's over 40% of the state's electorate. San Mateo County has about 184,000 vote-by-mail voters out of nearly 390,000 total voters. That equates to 47% of the entire voter roll. So we're here with Melinda Dubroff, election specialist with the San Mateo County Elections Department. So Melinda, tell us how somebody signs up to become a vote-by-mail voter.
Well, there are a variety of ways. The voter can, when they complete the voter registration card, indicate on there that they'd like to become a permanent vote-by-mail voter, or tear off the postcard on the back of the sample ballot pamphlet and voter information guide and send that in to us. I think people like the convenience of it, and they don't have to go to the polls and potentially wait in line. They can vote at home and really take a look at the issues and take their time and vote when it's easy for them. They can go to any open polling place on election day and turn it in, put it in the ballot box there. They could bring it into our office, or we have ballot boxes at city halls. They can go in there and turn it in.
So what happens when somebody becomes a permanent vote-by-mail voter?
We automatically will send a vote-by-mail ballot to them every election, so they don't have to reapply.
There are a number of steps taken by your county elections department to preserve the integrity of the election process and ensure the validity of every vote cast once you put your ballot in the mail. This is where the machine dubbed Ollie comes into play. At the cost of $600,000, Ollie processes the vote-by-mail returns at a rate of $24,000 per hour. The savings generated by this machine will more than pay for itself in just 2 years and will generate savings for taxpayers in the years to come. So what happens to the voted ballot once it's returned to the elections office?
It goes through Ollie, the mail sorter, and then it's sorted down to the precinct level and batched, and then we extract the ballots. And when we do that, we make sure that we don't look at the address of the voter. The address and that voter's information is flat down on the table. So as we're pulling out the ballots, we have no idea whose they belong to.
So, Melinda, how do we know that the person who sent the ballot back in is actually the registered voter that you have on the voter rolls?
We look at every envelope individually and compare the signature that we have on file with the one on the vote-by-mail envelope.
The vote-by-mail ballot is scanned into the county's system and sorted by precinct number. This process enables voters to track and confirm that their individual ballot has been received by the elections department. So how can voters tell if their ballot has been received?
It's easy. They go onto our website, www.shapethefuture.org, and put in some information. You put in your house number, your birth date, and your zip code, and then the track and confirm application tells you where it is in the process. So you can find out if we've received it or not.
We are back live here at the elections office in San Mateo, and I've been joined by Narda Garcia. Narda is the election supervisor for the San Mateo County Elections Office, and you'll recognize Narda. She was the star of one of our earlier packages. We were following you around with the camera today, a little real-world elections department. So thank you very much for being here. So let's talk about this vote-by-mail issue. So why does the county elections department want to encourage people to become permanent vote-by-mail voters?
One of the primary reasons is the convenience to the voters. We encourage individuals to become vote-by-mail voters simply because it's so much more convenient for them to vote at home, vote in their office, return their ballot at their convenience by the deadline.
And there very clearly is a trend in that direction. We've seen the numbers move just in our county, and I know that's a trend we've seen across the state, people moving to become vote-by-mail as opposed to coming into the precinct on election day.
That's right. Ever since 2002, since the law changed, we've seen a large trend of voters becoming permanent vote-by-mail voters, and we've seen an increase of about 10,000 every election, every year.
So talk also about this phenomenon of early voting. We've heard from across the country, states and counties across the land, because of the excitement around this election, there was lots and lots of early voting, lines out the window for early voting. Talk about how San Mateo County processes early voting, which does include the vote-by-mail process, but I saw a line out the window here at 40 Tower Road over the weekend, folks who couldn't vote today but wanted to make sure that their vote was tabulated. Talk about that phenomenon.
Well, they wanted to turn in their absentee ballots early, which gave us a huge opportunity to process their ballots on time.
And in an election year like this, with that level of excitement, it sort of staggers the workout for your staff. And we got a up-close view of all the work that the staff was doing today and the burdens placed upon the staff in an election like this, with some are saying possibly 80% turnout here in the county.
That's right. It actually gives us a better opportunity to process their vote-by-mail ballots earlier with plenty of time to get the results in on election night.
And what about all-mail elections, where you actually move away from the precincts and the polling place locations and really move this process into the mailboxes? Do you foresee that happening, and is that a possibility for the future?
Well, we certainly hope it's a possibility for the future. It's certainly more economical for the county to go all-mail ballot for each election. So we're hoping that we can go that way.
Okay. And talk about the vote-by-mail ballots where folks couldn't put them in the mail in time, weren't sure that they were going to be tabulated on Election Day. We talked in the package about people bringing them to their city halls, to the location here at Tower Road. What happens to those ballots that were dropped off today?
Well, all the ballots that were dropped off at the city halls and at the polling locations will be processed beginning tomorrow. So we have 28 days for our canvass period, and we'll be processing all those vote-by-mail ballots and provisional ballots as well.
So if there are some close elections, and I have a feeling that there will be at least a few on the local level, there are reports that come out periodically during that canvass period. Tell us about that process and how you'll be releasing those additional results, those absentees that are dropped off on Election Day.
Well, we have a specific schedule that we'll be releasing to the public as far as the results are concerned, and we will be processing all the absentee ballots again beginning Wednesday, the day after the election. So every reporting we do will include vote-by-mail ballots and provisional ballots. No matter whether the race is close or not, there's a misconception out there that we stop counting. We don't. We count every single ballot that comes in.
So the work is not over at midnight tonight. You'll be working for the next few weeks. Narda Garcia, Election Supervisor here at the Elections Office. Thank you very much for being with us. Bob and Mark at Election Central, back to you.
Thank you, Kevin.